Okay, so welcome to the deep dive. Today we're diving into a big one, a really fundamental question.
Oh, yeah.
What actually makes people successful?
Right.
We're going to be using a fascinating podcast script called Les 7 lois du succès que personne ne vous a jamais apprises,
Okay.
which, if my high school French serves me right, translates to
It's been a while.
the 7 laws of success that no one ever taught you.
Nice.
Our mission today
Yeah.
is to really unpack these 7 principles,
Right.
get the heart of what they're saying,
Absolutely.
understand what makes them tick.
Yeah, so we're essentially looking at the framework of this audio podcast
Right.
designed for YouTube,
Uh-huh.
really focused on personal development, achievement, and mindset.
Right.
It puts forward this compelling idea
Yeah.
that there are these underlying principles,
Mm-hmm.
often overlooked,
Okay.
that kind of explain why some people seem to consistently hit their goals,
Yeah.
while others, despite their efforts,
Yeah.
find it so much harder.
Totally. And that brings us to what we're really exploring today.
Yeah.
You know, those people who just seem to have this knack for succeeding
Right.
time after time.
Absolutely.
Have you ever wondered what that underlying difference is?
Yeah.
Especially when it looks like everyone's putting in the work, they've got good plans.
Right.
It's like, what is that extra something?
Yeah.
So this deep dive
Okay.
is all about uncovering those potential hidden drivers of success.
I like it.
Okay, let's jump straight into the first law.
Okay, let's do it.
Le succès est 80% mental et 20% strategy,
Mhm.
which is success is 80% mental and 20% strategy.
Oh, interesting.
What's your initial reaction to that?
Well, I mean, what jumps out at me right away is how this kind of challenges a very common assumption.
Right.
We often hear so much about the importance of a detailed plan
Yeah.
or a brilliant idea
Yeah.
or just exceptional talent
Right.
being these kind of keys to success.
The magic bullets.
Yeah. But this law kind of dramatically shifts that focus,
Right.
suggesting that it's your internal landscape, your mindset, that's the real dominant factor,
Uh-huh.
making up like a whopping 80% of the equation. Wow. With strategy only making up the remaining, though still important, 20%.
Yeah, it's a real head turner.
Yeah.
Because it's saying that a resilient, focused mental approach
Right.
can actually equip you to navigate all of the inevitable obstacles
Uh-huh.
and even identify those paths to success
Right.
that someone with a weaker mindset, they might just miss completely.
You might not even see them.
Yeah, exactly.
And then on the flip side,
Yeah.
you can have the most meticulously crafted strategy,
Really?
the perfect plan.
Uh-huh.
But if you're plagued by self-doubt,
Yeah.
or you just give up at the first hurdle,
Yeah, right.
it can completely undermine all that effort.
Absolutely. And think about,
Yeah.
all those entrepreneurs who face repeated setbacks,
Uh-huh.
failure after failure, but they just keep pushing forward
Yeah.
until they break through.
Right.
It's often that unwavering belief,
Their mental toughness.
that mental grit,
Yeah.
more than like some constantly changing blueprint,
Right, exactly.
It gets them there.
Yeah. And if we look at this from a psychological standpoint,
Okay.
a success-oriented mindset often involves a strong sense of self-efficacy,
Self-efficacy.
which is basically the belief in your own ability to achieve things,
Right?
to succeed, and this belief can fuel motivation,
Okay.
encourage you to take those necessary risks,
Mhm.
and really importantly, promote persistence when things get tough.
Right.
Now, a negative mindset, on the other hand,
Yeah.
can actually trigger all sorts of cognitive biases
Uh-huh.
that lead to, those self-limiting beliefs
right.
and a tendency to kind of throw in the towel too early.
To prematurely give up.
Exactly.
So for everyone listening, that
Yeah.
first crucial insight here
Mhm.
is to really, really examine your inner dialogue.
Right.
Are your thoughts generally supportive, optimistic towards your goals,
Mhm.
or are they more often critical, doubtful?
Right.
It's about cultivating a mindset that's geared towards success,
Totally.
which isn't just about positive thinking.
No, it's deeper than that.
It's about developing that underlying belief in your capabilities.
Exactly.
Okay, so now let's move on to loi and two. Vous êtes la somme des 5 personnes qui vous entourent,
Oh, wait.
which translates to you are the sum of the 5 people around you.
Interesting.
This really speaks to the power of our social environment.
It does.
Yeah.
What do you make of that?
Well, the central idea here is that your immediate circle, the people you spend the most time with,
Mhm.
have a profound impact on your own success. An
Right.
impact that's often underestimated, I think. And the podcast script is quite direct about this, saying that surrounding yourself with negative or unsupportive individuals
Yeah.
can really hinder your progress.
Hold you back.
Absolutely. It's that whole thing, you are who you hang out with,
Right.
the people we spend the most time with.
Yeah.
Influence our thinking.
Our beliefs.
Yeah, our beliefs about what's even possible.
Uh-huh.
And ultimately, the choices we make every single day.
Exactly. And the script even points to the tendency of highly successful individuals
Yeah,
to gravitate towards each other.
right.
It's not just about networking for the sake of it.
Right.
It's about that shared vision,
Yeah,
the mutual encouragement that comes from being in that kind of environment.
absolutely. And, this raises a really important question.
Yeah, what's that?
For everyone listening,
Mm-hmm.
think about the 5 individuals you interact with most frequently.
Okay, yeah.
From a social psychology perspective,
Right.
we know that social influence is a powerful, powerful force.
Huge.
We tend to adopt the norms.
The behaviors,
Yeah,
even the mindsets of those around us.
exactly. So if you're surrounded by a supportive network,
Mm-hmm.
that can provide invaluable feedback.
Accountability.
Yeah, a boost to your self-belief. But then on the flip side, negative relationships, they can breed doubt, discourage ambition.
It can really hold you back.
Yeah. So a key takeaway here is to really evaluate your current relationships.
Uh-huh.
Are they energizing you, pushing you forward?
Yeah.
Or are they draining your energy?
Mm.
Maybe even reinforcing limiting beliefs.
Right.
Consciously seeking out people who inspire you,
Yeah.
who challenge you in a constructive way,
Right.
and who genuinely want to see you thrive.
Absolutely.
That can be an absolute game changer.
You can.
Okay, let's move on to loi industrie. L'action prime, toujours sur la perfection.
Okay.
Meaning action always takes precedence over perfection.
Mm.
Now, this is something I think a lot of us struggle with.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
What are your thoughts on that?
Well, I think this principle really gets at that common trap of procrastination
Right.
that comes from this desire to have everything perfect.
Yeah.
Like everything lined up just right
Right.
before we even take that first step. And the script makes a vital point.
Yeah.
Taking action, even if it's imperfect,
Right.
yields far greater results
Yeah.
than waiting for some kind of elusive, state of absolute readiness.
That perfect moment.
Exactly. It'll never come.
It'll never come.
So you just got to start.
Yeah, and it's about understanding
Yeah.
that learning and adjustments happen through the process of actually doing.
Mhm.
You can spend hours planning, strategizing.
Yeah, you can get stuck in that analysis paralysis.
Oh, totally.
Right.
But it's only when you start putting things into motion
Right.
that you encounter real-world feedback
Exactly.
and identify those areas for improvement.
Yeah.
The script gives the example of the initial iPhone launch.
Oh, interesting.
It wasn't the refined, device that we all know and love today,
Right.
but by releasing a functional product, they gained valuable user feedback and were able to, iterate and improve over time.
That's a great example.
Yeah. What do you think is so fascinating about this idea of iteration?
Well, I think it's the embracing of the minimum viable product.
Okay.
Instead of striving for this unattainable level of perfection right from the start,
Yeah.
focusing on taking that initial action
Uh-huh.
allows for learning and adaptation as you go.
Right.
It's recognizing that progress often emerges from the doing itself,
Yeah.
not just from meticulous planning in a vacuum.
Right. Right.
So get out there and do it.
So if you're listening
Mm.
and you're feeling stuck on a goal
Yeah.
because you're waiting for the perfect moment, the
Yeah.
perfect plan,
Right.
the encouragement here is just to start.
Begin.
Identify one small, even flawed first step
Absolutely.
you can take towards that goal today.
Uh-huh.
You might be surprised by what happens.
Yeah, you never know.
Yeah. Let's tackle Loy and degrees 4. La discipline bat la motivation chaque fois,
Okay.
which means discipline beats motivation every time.
Mm-hmm.
This feels like a much more, rigorous principle.
It does, yeah.
What are your thoughts on this?
Well, the script acknowledges something really important here.
Yeah.
Motivation, it fluctuates.
Right.
It comes and goes.
Mm-hmm.
Discipline, on the other hand,
Okay.
is that steadfast force that keeps you moving forward,
Right.
especially on those days when you're just not feeling it.
Yeah.
When your enthusiasm's taking a dip.
You're not inspired.
Exactly.
So it's about making those goal-oriented behaviors habitual.
Right. Turning them into
So
happy.
you just do automatically.
Yeah, regardless of how you feel in the moment.
Right.
And the example of high-performing athletes really illustrates this. They don't just train when they're feeling inspired.
Right.
They stick to those grueling training schedules
Yeah.
with unwavering discipline.
Even when they'd rather be doing anything else.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, think about it, connecting this to behavioral science.
Okay.
Discipline often involves creating routines and habits that actually bypass the need for constant, conscious motivation.
Interesting.
You're essentially automating certain actions,
Okay.
which reduces the mental energy required to stay on track.
Right. You're not having to fight yourself to do it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So this principle really underscores the importance of building these sustainable systems,
Okay.
routines that support your goals,
Right.
transforming them from something you hope to do
Yeah.
into something you consistently do.
Something you just do.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the takeaway here is to think about those key actions that are actually going to move you towards your goals and then build daily or weekly routines around them and commit to those routines.
Yes.
Even when you don't feel like it.
Absolutely. Consistency is key.
That consistent effort fueled by discipline is ultimately what leads to significant progress.
Totally agree.
Okay. Next up is Law and Agree 5. Votre temps est votre ressource la plus précieuse.
Okay.
Meaning, your time is your most precious resource. We all know time is valuable.
Right.
But I think this law emphasizes a very specific angle.
It does.
What do you think that is?
Well, the script draws a critical distinction between losing money, which can often be recovered,
Okay.
and the irreversible loss of time.
Right.
You can't get it back.
You can't earn more time.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So the intentional, efficient use of this limited resource is really portrayed as something that sets successful individuals apart.
A hallmark.
Yeah.
And, the example of super successful people, meticulously planning and prioritizing their time really underscores this.
It shows how much they value it.
Yeah, it's not just about having enough hours in the day.
Right.
It's about consciously choosing how to spend those hours on the activities that actually align with your goals. I think every moment becomes a lot more significant when you really internalize its irreplaceability.
It's a finite resource.
Yeah. And so this brings up a crucial question for everybody listening. Where are you currently investing your time?
Right.
Think about it.
Yeah.
If we link this back to your goals, your aspirations, are your daily activities genuinely moving you closer to those things?
Good question.
Right.
Yeah.
This principle is encouraging you to take an honest look at how you're spending your time. Identify those activities that are yielding little to no return.
Right. Are they really serving you?
And then think about ways to minimize or eliminate them.
Free up that time for what really matters.
Exactly. So the real key here is self-reflection.
Yeah.
Take a hard look at how you're spending your days, your weeks, and ask yourself, are there habits, commitments that aren't truly serving your goals?
Right.
Reclaiming that time and then redirecting it.
To where it needs to go.
That can have a huge impact.
Huge.
Okay, so now we're at Loya and degrees. L'échec est une étape, pas une fin.
Okay.
Which means failure is a step, not an end. This is such a fundamental shift in perspective.
It is, right.
For a lot of people.
Yeah, I think so.
What are your thoughts on this one?
Well, I think this principle really reframes failure.
Okay.
Instead of seeing it as a setback,
Right.
a sign that you're not good enough,
Yeah.
it encourages us to see it as an essential part of learning.
Okay.
Every failure can provide valuable lessons
Right.
that ultimately contribute to your success.
It's about adopting that growth mindset.
Exactly. It's about embracing the journey.
Yeah. And the script even points to iconic figures like Walt Disney, Steve Jobs, Oprah Winfrey,
Oh, wow.
all of whom faced huge failures on their paths to success.
Right. It puts things in perspective.
It's a powerful reminder that setbacks are often temporary.
Yeah.
Detours, not dead ends.
I like that, detours.
Yeah.
It's a good way to look at it.
Yeah. And what's so insightful here
Yeah.
is that instead of dwelling on the disappointment of failure, this law encourages you to analyze what went wrong. Identify the lessons learned.
Okay.
And use that knowledge to inform future actions.
So it's about resilience.
Yeah.
The ability to bounce back.
Right.
Seeing failures as stepping stones, not insurmountable obstacles.
Love that. So for you listening, the challenge here
Okay.
is to reevaluate how you think about failure. Can you see it as a crucial source of feedback?
Right.
A necessary part of your journey towards your
Yeah.
goals?
Yeah, a chance to learn and grow.
Right. Okay. And finally, we come to Loi and degree 7. Tout commence par une décision, meaning everything begins with a decision. This feels like that catalyst.
It does.
That sets everything else in motion.
Right.
What are your thoughts on this final law?
Well, it underscores that meaningful change doesn't just happen passively.
Right.
It has to be initiated by a conscious, deliberate decision.
A choice to actually go after it.
Right.
And the script really presents this as the foundational spark.
Yeah. For transforming any aspect of your life.
It's that moment when you move from just thinking about something to actually committing to it.
Yeah, making that choice.
It's that commitment.
Right.
And, the script positions this as the absolute essential first step.
Yeah.
Like the ignition that fuels everything that comes after.
That's a great way to put it.
Yeah, without that initial clear decision,
right.
The mindset work, the networking, the taking action, the discipline.
Yeah, it all kind of falls apart.
It all lacks that direction.
Without that clear intention.
Right.
It's sort of wandering aimlessly.
Yeah. So this is a powerful challenge.
It is.
For everybody listening. Is there an area of your life where you've been wanting to see it changed, but haven't yet fully committed to taking action?
Right.
This law emphasizes the power of clarity and commitment.
Yeah.
Once that decision is made, it gives you that focus, that energy you need to use all of the other principles that we've talked about.
It becomes the driving force that propels you forward.
Exactly.
So don't underestimate the power of that initial decision.
So the final call to action, direct and immediate, is this. Identify one area of your life where you want to see change and make a clear decision, a commitment to take action.
Love it.
So we've come to the end of this deep dive.
Yeah.
We've explored these 7 powerful laws of success.
This is a moss.
Highlighting the incredible impact of your mindset, the crucial role of your environment, the importance of imperfect action, the unwavering power of discipline, the irreplaceable value of your time, the lessons hidden within failure, and that fundamental starting point of a conscious, committed decision.
So powerful.
So this leads us to a final thought.
Okay, I'm ready.
I want you to take a moment, really reflect on these 7 principles.
Okay.
Which one resonates most strongly with you?
Right. With the challenges you're facing right now or the goals you're trying to achieve.
Yeah.
And then ask yourself, how might be intentionally applying just one of these laws?
Just one.
Maybe subtly or maybe even significantly change your trajectory.
Interesting.
What if the key to unlocking the success that you want has been within reach all along?
Wow.
Just waiting for a deliberate decision.
Powerful.
And a shift in perspective.
Yeah. Something to think about.
I think so.
Thanks for having me.
Thanks for joining me.